Zira stood at the edge of the human zone, her breathing mask tight on her face. She was not supposed to be here. Her orders were simple: observe, report, and stay hidden. But curiosity had brought her closer than she ever planned. She looked through the glass wall at the human habitat. Warm lights, laughter, music, they seemed so alive. Her species, the Valari, believed humans were dangerous, unpredictable, dirty. But Zira didn't see monsters. She saw emotion, joy, chaos, and something she couldn't explain. That her hand moved to the control pad. One button and the door would open. Just a few seconds, she thought. Just to feel the air. She removed her mask. The door opened with a soft hiss. She stepped in. The human scent hit her like a wave. Warm, strong, sweet and sharp at the same time. It was overwhelming. She gasped. Her knees weakened. Her body shook. Something was wrong. Her heart started racing. Her skin tingled. Heat rose from her chest to her face. Her breathing grew faster. She stumbled backward and hit the wall. Her fingers clawed at the door controls. She had to get out. Now, the door opened again, and she fell through it, landing hard on the cold floor of her own hallway. Zira crawled back to her room, heart still pounding. Her skin was burning. Her vision was blurry. She reached her bed and collapsed. What happened? Why was her body reacting like this? She tapped her wristpad and checked her vitals. Temperature high, pulse rapid, hormone levels spiking. Her breath caught. She knew what this meant. She was going into heat. That shouldn't happen. Not now, not here. Not because of humans. Zira had never gone into heat before. It was rare in her kind. It happened once in a lifetime, and only when the body chose a perfect genetic match. She stared at the screen in shock. Could it be the human scent? Her body was reacting to something in the air, human pheromones. It was impossible. No Valori had ever reacted like this. She sat up, trembling. Her body felt like it was on fire, but her mind was racing with fear. This had to be a mistake. A glitch. Maybe her suit had failed. Maybe the air was poisoned, but deep down, she knew the truth. Something had changed inside her. 12 hours later, Zira woke up drenched in sweat. Her sheets were soaked. Her skin was glowing. Faint lines of light ran across her arms. Her fingertips felt sensitive. Her ears could hear every sound on the station. Even the quiet hum of a human breathing in the next room. She could smell him. She froze. It was the same scent from before. The one that triggered everything. Dr. Marcus. She had seen him once, across the glass wall. He was tall, with dark hair and curious eyes. He had looked up when she passed, as if he knew she was watching. Now, her body was calling to him. No, this was wrong. She was a soldier, not some animal. She couldn't let this take control, but the heat. It was growing stronger. Her stomach turned. Her skin felt too tight. Her chest ached. She needed answers. Later, that night, Zira walked the hallway in silence. Her hood up, hiding her face. Her steps were slow, cautious. She moved like a shadow. She shouldn't be out. Her condition was unstable. But she needed to know what was happening. She reached the observation deck and looked through the glass again. There, he was, Dr. Marcus, standing alone, looking at the stars. Her heart skipped. She didn't understand why. But her body did. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit her chest. She gasped and grabbed the railing. Her legs shook. He turned. Through the glass, their eyes met. And for a second, everything stopped. Zira backed away, heart racing. She turned and ran, the heat burning inside her like fire. Back in her quarters, she fell to her knees, panting. Her hands were shaking. Her skin was changing slowly. Soft patches like human skin were forming along her arms. Her reflection in the mirror showed glowing eyes and small ridges fading from her face. She wasn't just reacting. She was transforming. Her body was adapting. to a human mate. She covered her mouth in shock. What had she done? Zira couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face. Dr. Marcus, the human male. His scent was still in her memory, stuck like a flame that wouldn't go out. Her body was hot again. Not just warm burning. She pulled off her uniform and stared at her skin. It was different now. Glowing patterns, soft edges, smoother texture. Her hands looked almost human. Even her nails had changed shorter, rounder. The Velari don't change like this. Not without surgery. Not without control, but this. This was nature. Something inside her had awakened. Something ancient. Something forbidden. She walked to the mirror. Her face was still hers, but not fully. Her cheekbones were softer, her eyes rounder, her lips fuller. She looked like a mix of both species Velari and human. She whispered to herself, "This is not real." But it was. Her reflection blinked. Her fingers brushed against the glass. And then she heard something. A heartbeat. Not hers. It was steady, calm, close. She turned us toward the wall. On the other side, Dr. Marcus was sleeping. She could feel it, hear it, smell it. She wasn't just reacting to him anymore. She was connected to him. Zira backed away slowly. Her hands were shaking again, but this time not from fear. From need. A deep, biological hunger she had never felt before. Her species went into heat only once, and when it happened, the body did everything to complete the bond. But this was wrong. He was human. This wasn't supposed to happen. Her kind would call her broken. Her commander would call her a threat. She would be locked up. Or worse. She opened her mouth to scream, but nothing came out. A single thought repeated in her mind. Find him. The need grew louder. Her temperature spiked again. She fell to the floor, sweating, panting, eyes wide. She crawled to the door. Her legs didn't want to listen. Her instincts had taken over, but she fought them. She slammed her hand against the wall, trying to clear her mind. A voice echoed in her ears. Not hers. Help me. It wasn't real. It couldn't be, but the voice came again. It was Marcus. She was hearing his thoughts. Her body had gone too far. She grabbed a scanner from her table and checked her readings. Pheromone levels, extreme. Gene shift, 42% complete. Neural link, unstable connection detected. Zira dropped the scanner, 42%. She was changing too fast. She looked at her arm again. There were no glowing lines now, just soft pinkish skin. Like his. She clenched her teeth. She had to see him. Not to bond, not to surrender, but to understand. Why him? Why now? She put on a cloak and left her room. The hall was quiet, cold, empty, but inside her, the fire kept burning. She moved quickly, staying in the shadows. The cameras were easy to avoid. She had studied the station for weeks. But this time, she wasn't just a spy. She was a threat. She reached the human science wing. The door was locked. She placed her hand on the panel. The system scanned her skin. Access granted. She didn't question it. She stepped inside. The lights flickered on slowly. Marcus was at his desk, staring at a screen. He turned. Their eyes met again. This time, she didn't run. She stepped forward, trembling, glowing, breathing heavy. He stood up, cautious, curious, but not afraid. Zira, he said, quietly. She froze. You know my name? I saw your file. You're not supposed to be here, but I didn't report it. Why not? Because, he said, walking closer, you looked like you needed help. She laughed weakly. I need more than help. He stopped a few feet away. What's happening to you? She looked down. My body is changing. Because of you. His eyebrows lifted. Because of me? Your scent, your pheromones. I breathed them in, and now. She lifted her hand. Human skin. Marcus looked at her with shock, but also wonder. "You're evolving," he whispered. "You're merging with human DNA." "No, I'm breaking. My people will kill me for this." "But why?" "You're not dangerous. You don't understand." Her eyes glowed brighter. "I'm going into heat." Silence. Marcus didn't move. He didn't speak. Zira's voice cracked. "If I lose control, I might bond with you. And if that happens, I won't be able to stop it." Marcus looked at her. "Then don't run. Let's figure it out." Her heart raced again, but this time, it wasn't just heat. It was hope. But neither of them knew. Someone was already watching, and they were not alone. The alarms didn't go off right away. The station systems hesitated, confused by the readings. A Velari life form had entered the human science wing, but it didn't match any threat protocols. The biometric data was mixed, part Velari, part human. I didn't know what to do. By the time the first alert beeped, Zira was already inside. Dr. Marcus stood still, staring at her. He saw the change in her eyes first. They weren't glowing anymore. They were soft now, warm, almost human, but not fully. There was something behind them. Something wild. Zira's voice was low. "I shouldn't be here." Marcus didn't move. "But you came anyway." "I didn't choose to. That's not what it looks like." She looked away, ashamed. "My body is doing this, not my mind. I want to run, but I keep coming back." Marcus looked at her closely. Her breathing was shallow. Her hands trembled. Her scent, sweet, sharp, magnetic, filled the room, and still, she didn't attack. She didn't even raise her voice. "I don't think you're dangerous," he said softly. "I am," she whispered. "I just haven't hurt anyone yet." He stepped closer. She didn't back away. "I can help," he said. "But I need to study your changes. Understand what's happening inside you." She looked up. "You want to study me like a lab animal?" "No," he said quickly. "Like a new beginning." Her heart skipped. Those words, new beginning, they meant something deeper to her people. A phrase used in old stories. In bonding. Rituals. Zira shook her head. "You don't know what you're saying, but I want to." She almost smiled, almost. Then the door slammed open behind them. Two armed security bots rolled in, red lights blinking. Marcus turned. "No, stand down." "The Jemdu." Bots didn't respond. They moved toward Zira. Zira's body reacted on its own. She jumped, fast as lightning, landing in front of Marcus. Her arms out, teeth bared, skin glowing. The bots scanned her. Unknown threat detected. Preparing containment. "No," Marcus shouted again. "She's not a threat." But they didn't care. Machines never do. Zira moved first. She grabbed the nearest bot and smashed it against the wall. Sparks flew. The second bot fired a stun bolt. It hit her shoulder. She screamed. Not in pain, but enraged. Her skin shifted instantly, hardening into armor. The bolt had no effect. She lunged again. Claws out, claws she didn't have yesterday. The second bot was crushed. Silence fell. Smoke drifted in the air. Zira stood over the broken machines, breathing heavily. Marcus stared, frozen. She turned to him slowly, glowing veins pulsing along her neck. Then, her glow faded. She looked down at her hands, as if seeing them for the first time. "I didn't mean to." "I know," he said. "They attacked first." Her knees buckled. He caught her before she hit the floor. Zira was shaking, not from pain, but fear. "Marcus," she said weakly, "it's getting worse." He looked at her in his arms, her skin shifting again, softening as she calmed. "I'll protect you," he said. She closed her eyes. "You can't, not from them. Not from me." He helped her to the bed and connected his scanner. Her vitals were unstable. DNA was still changing. Fast. "This isn't just evolution," he whispered. "This is something new." Outside the lab, The eye tried to process what just happened. It marked 0 as unknown biological event. Higher clearance was required. It sent a silent ping to someone deep in the military division of the station. The message was simple. Cross-species transformation confirmed. Possible hybrid. Dangerous. They read it, and they started moving. *0 woke up in silence. No alarms, no lights flashing. Just the steady sound of her own heartbeat and something else. Breathing. Hers. She opened her eyes. She was lying on a medical bed, wires attached to her arms, monitors blinking quietly above her. Her body didn't feel weak. In fact, it felt stronger, calmer, but something inside her still burned low, like fire beneath the skin. She sat up slowly. Marcus was in the corner watching her. He didn't look afraid, just tired and focused. "You're awake," he said. Zyra didn't speak. "You've been out for hours. Your DNA is still changing, but the process is slowing down." She looked at the wires. "You scanned me. I had to. I needed to know what's happening to you, and you're not Valari anymore." Her hands tightened into fists. "You're not fully human either," he continued. "You're something in between, a hybrid." Zyra stood from the bed, pulling the wires off her skin. Her movements were too smooth, too fast. She didn't feel pain anymore. Her senses were sharper. Her strength had doubled. She had changed inside and out. She turned to Marcus. "How is this possible?" "I don't know," he said, walking to the screen. "But your DNA is rewriting itself. Your heat state triggered it. But something else, something in our air, maybe even me, pushed it further. You think this is your fault?" She asked. "I think you inhaled something, pheromones maybe. And your body chose to respond. Not just with attraction, but with transformation." "That's not normal," she said. "No, it's evolution." Zyra looked at herself in the mirror. Her skin was smooth now. The glowing Valari lines were almost gone. Her eyes looked fully human. Her voice even sounded softer, more human. "I'm not me anymore," she whispered. Marcus stepped closer. "You're still you, just more." She turned sharply. "You don't understand. If my people find out, they'll erase me, my entire bloodline." "Why?" he asked. "Because bonding with another species is forbidden. Even thinking about it is a crime, and I didn't just bond. I changed." Marcus didn't reply. He could see her pain. Outside, heavy boots hit the floor. Quiet at first, then louder. Zyra turned toward the door. "They're coming," she said. Marcus moved quickly to the controls. "I locked the door. They won't get in." "They don't need to," she said. A deep rumble filled the walls. Not from weapons, something else. The lights flickered, then turned red. Station lockdown. Zyra backed away, eyes glowing again. The heat was returning. Not from desire this time, from fear. "You need to go," she told Marcus. "They'll think you helped me." "I did help you. That doesn't matter to them." Suddenly, the wall screen lit up. A cold voice came through the speakers. "Dr. Marcus, step away from the subject. Surrender immediately." He looked at Zyra. She was already pulling back, hiding behind the medical bed. Marcus turned to the screen. "She's not a subject. She's a person." "She is a threat," the voice replied. "She is unstable and compromised. She will be detained and examined." Zyra growled softly. Her teeth were sharper now. She didn't want to hurt anyone, but she wouldn't be caged. "I'm not going back," she said. "You won't," Marcus told her, but he didn't know how to stop what was coming. The station's military unit was already at the door. Heavy armor, shock rifles, anti-psych barriers. They were ready for a monster. They weren't ready for her. The truth wasn't just in her DNA, it was in her instincts. She was evolving into something more than either species. Stronger, smarter, Unpredictable. And very soon. Unstoppable. Asterisk. The walls were too quiet. That was the first warning. Zyra's heartbeat matched her footsteps as she ran. Barefoot, cloak trailing behind her like a torn shadow. The lockdown lights flashed red, then white, then red again. A siren had started. 5 minutes ago, and then suddenly stopped. That silence wasn't peace. It was the calm before the trap. Marcus followed close behind, carrying a stolen data drive and a small med pack. His eyes were wide, his breathing fast, but he didn't ask questions. Not anymore. He had seen what Zyra could do. And now he believed. Her. The two of them moved through the lower decks of the station, places unused and forgotten. Storage areas, broken labs. Places where cameras had stopped working years ago. Places where the AI didn't look, Zyra didn't need light to see. Her eyes had changed again. She could see through heat, through walls, even through fear. But something else moved nearby. She paused. Marcus stopped too. What is it? They're not human, she whispered. They sent my people this time. He stared at her. You mean Valari soldiers? She nodded. They know what I've become, she said. And they're not here to catch me. They're here to erase me. Her hand reached for the wall. She pressed her palm flat. A small ripple passed through her. Skin. The wall responded. Her DNA unlocked an old emergency door. One only her kind could open. Inside was darkness, but it was safe for now. They stepped in. The door closed. She sat down, exhausted. Her skin steamed faintly from the heat inside her. It was constant now, like a second heartbeat. But worse, her mind was changing too. Emotions felt sharper. The pull toward Marcus stronger. He sat beside her. He offered her water. She took it. Her hands shook. Marcus looked at her closely. You're getting stronger. Yes, she said, but also more unstable. She nodded. My body doesn't know what it is anymore. He sighed. And your people? Why do they want you dead? Because I broke the rule we never speak aloud, she said. Valari don't bond with humans. They fear what I'm becoming. And what are you becoming? He asked gently. She looked at him, eyes glowing again. I don't know, she said, but it's not Valari anymore. Before he could respond, she stood quickly. Voices. Coming. Closer. Not human, too fast. Too light. Zyra's back straightened. Her fingers sharpened, slightly new claws forming. She was ready to fight. No, Marcus said. Don't kill them. They're not here to arrest me, she replied. They're trained to kill silently. I know how they work. I was one of them. The door behind them exploded. 3 Valari soldiers entered. No words, no warnings. Zyra moved first, blinding speed. Claws out. One soldier dropped instantly, thrown into the ceiling. The second fired a sonic dart. Zyra spun, dodged, and grabbed his throat. Then she stopped. She didn't kill him. Instead, she stared into his eyes, and what she saw there wasn't hatred. It was fear. He had never seen anything like her before. Zyra leaned close. You're not hunting a traitor, she said. You're looking at your future. She threw him aside. The last one ran. Marcus stood, stunned. You didn't kill them. Zyra looked at her hands again. I could have. Why didn't you? Because I'm not just fighting them anymore. I'm fighting what they made me to be. She looked at him, glowing in the dim light. I don't want to be a weapon, she said. I want to be something new, but far above in the control room. Someone else was watching. A woman in a black uniform. Valari armor. A commander. Her voice was calm. She's adapting faster than expected. Should we increase the unit count? The officer asked beside her. No. Send in the prototype. The prototype? Yes, the commander said coldly. The one we made from her own DNA. Zyra smelled it before she saw it herself. Not perfume. Not sweat. Not metal. Her own scent, but twisted, Wrong, too clean. Too perfect. She stopped walking and closed her eyes. The heat in her chest flared. Her instincts screamed a warning. Something unnatural was nearby. Marcus noticed her face tighten. What? Is it? She opened her eyes slowly. They made a copy of me. His brow furrowed. A clone. No, worse. A weapon. They moved cautiously through the ruined service tunnels. Zira had led them toward a forgotten genetics lab, deep beneath the station's old levels. She hadn't known why, only that something was pulling her there. The air grew colder with every step. Lights flickered, then died. The walls had dust from years of silence. But recently disturbed footprints marked the floor. Not human footprints. Valari. Feet, but lighter, sharper, feral. And there were two sets. They reached the lab door. Broken open. No lights inside. Zira stepped in first. What she saw made her stop breathing. Tanks. 6 of them, each filled with fluid, wires, and something floating inside. Some failed attempts, half human, half Valari bodies, deformed and lifeless. One tank was empty. Just one. Zira stepped closer. Her reflection stared back from the glass. But it wasn't her. It was her face, but colder, cleaner, without fear, without softness. Eyes that had never known doubt. Marcus spoke quietly. They built you again, but without your heart. Zira didn't reply. She felt that something was watching. She turned around, and there it was. Her copy. Same height, same voice, same body. But no emotion. No hesitation. The clone tilted its head. You are unstable, it said. Voice flat like a machine. Zira raised her hands. You're not alive. You're a tool. I am what you failed to become, the clone replied. Efficient, focused, pure. Marcus took a step forward. She's not a failure. She's proof we can evolve. The clone didn't even look at him. I was born perfect, it said. You were born confused. Zira's heat returned. Her blood raced. Her hands flexed, claws forming again, but she held them back. I have a choice, she said. You don't, the clone smiled. A small, empty smile. I don't need choice. I was made to win. And then it moved. Faster than Zira expected. Punch aimed straight at her chest. She blocked it, but barely. The shockwave cracked the wall behind her. Zyra pushed back, spun, and kicked, this time with full strength. The clone flew across the room, smashed into a tank, and slid to the ground. But it stood again. No blood, no pain. It smiled wider. You are weak. No, Zyra said. I'm real. The fight began in silence. No screams. No anger. Just motion. Speed. Fire. Zira fought with instinct. The clone fought with programming. Every move was mirrored. Every strike matched, but Zira had something the clone would never have. Emotion. She felt fear, rage, hope, and for the first time purpose. Not to survive, but to change. She let go of the fear. Let the heat flow, but not control her. And in that moment, her body shifted again. Her glow returned brighter than ever. Wings of energy burst from her back. Not real wings, but an aura, a field of power. The clone paused. It had no answer for that. Zira struck once, just once. The clone shattered like glass. No scream. No final words, just silence. Marcus stepped forward. Shocked. Zyra stood tall, calm, glowing. I'm not a mistake, she said quietly. I'm the first, Marcus nodded. Then what now? She looked toward the sky, through the broken ceiling. I show them, she said. I show everyone what comes next. But far above, in the military command center, the Valari commander watched the fight's end. She didn't look angry, she looked curious. She has passed the trial, the commander said. Begin phase 2. Asterisk. The door to the surface opened for the first time in years. Zira stood on the platform, wind brushing against her face. carrying the scent of space dust and something else, freedom. Behind her, Marcus watched silently. He didn't say a word. He knew this moment wasn't his. This was her choice now. Her future, or her end. The sky above wasn't black. It was deep blue, strange and endless. The kind of sky her people never trusted. The kind of sky humans looked up at with hope. Zira looked down at her hands. They no longer glowed. They no longer shifted. They were hers, fully hers, not Valari, not human, something new. She could feel the change had stopped. The heat inside her had cooled, not gone, but tamed. Like fire turned to light, but peace hadn't come. Above the platform, 3 warships hovered. 2 Valari. 1 human. Both sides had received the same message. Come, see me. She had sent it. No more running. No more hiding. No more being hunted or controlled. Today, she would stand in the open and be seen. The first ship to land was Valari. Her people stepped out in perfect armor. Silver, sharp, cold. The commander, tall, old, proud, walked forward without fear. The second ship came slower. Human soldiers stepped out, uncertain, tense. Their captain stared at Zira with wide eyes. He looked more like a scientist than a warrior. For a moment, no one spoke. Only the wind. Then Zira stepped forward, alone, between both sides. I'm not your weapon, she said, voice steady. Not your enemy, not your project. The Valari. Commander narrowed her eyes. Then what are you? Zira took a breath. I'm a bridge. The human captain looked confused. A bridge? I'm what happens when fear doesn't win. When instinct doesn't control us. When we evolve by choice, not design. The Valari soldiers gripped their weapons. She's unstable, one of them said. She must be terminated. The human side raised their rifles in response. Zira lifted her hand and the air around her shimmered. Not a weapon, not a threat, just power held in control. No one will fire, she said softly. The soldiers, both sides, froze. Not because she forced them, but because something inside them believed her. The commander stepped forward. You defied our laws, she said. You rejected your kind. No, Zira replied. I became something your laws never imagined. And what now? The commander asked. You want peace? No, Zira said. I want a future. She turned to Marcus. He nodded, stepping forward. He handed her the drive they had stolen together. The data inside held everything: DNA logs, changes, energy shifts, the clone lab. Proof of what she had become. Zira turned back to both sides. I will share this, with both species, with everyone. No more secrets. The commander looked at the drive like it was poison. You would give this power away? No, she replied. I'll give them the truth. The wind rose again. One of the younger Valari soldiers dropped his weapon, quietly, slowly. Then, one of the humans did the same. Zyra didn't smile. She simply breathed. This wasn't a victory. This was a beginning. Behind her, the station lights blinked to life again. The lockdown ended. The I voice returned. Hybrid status recognized. Protocol rewritten. Zira turned her eyes to the horizon. She wasn't alone anymore. She wasn't afraid anymore. Her voice echoed through the coms of both ships. This is not the end of the story. This is the first chapter of something greater. Something we write together. High above, in deep space, another signal flickered to life. Far away, another being received it. It smiled and whispered, so. The first one has awakened.